Hello, this is idtalks, brought to you by Salto Inclusion and Diversity Resource Center. This spring of 2022, we are talking about interfaith dialogue for community and peace building. This series will take you on a journey through faith, belief, and how to build projects to encompass different perspectives in your youth and community work. Today is our one of our last ID talks for this season, and today we are going to speak about dialogue and peace, a big word that very often we don't know how to address. Peace and conflict are very often addressed in non-formal learning and youth work, but what sets interreligious conflicts apart from other types of conflict? Let's see the role of interfaith dialogue in conflict prevention, conflict transformation, and peace building, and how youth work and youth programs like Erasmus Plus, for example, can support the work on intercultural learning and peace building. Today, we are going to discover this interesting topic with a colleague from Jordan, Mamoun Khreisat. He's an executive with multiple years of experience in both business sector, non-formal sector, and volunteering projects. Currently working in leadership positions for two prominent non-profit organizations in Jordan. One is the United Religions Initiative in MENA region that is also having about 100 autonomous members that Mamoun provides guidance and support to, and the other organization is Desert Blossom. In these capacities, he's overseeing a number of different community development programs, and many of them focused on peace building, conflict transformation, women empowerment, and much, much more. Without further ado, Mamoun, I would like to pass you the floor because I think you could present yourself way better than myself. Let's have a great ID talk, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us in this springtime and being indoor instead of being in sun, as Anna said. You introduced me very well. I would like to add that I have a personal mission is getting people together, and I believe magic can happen if we get people from different cultures, different religious traditions together and share the wisdom so we can make our world a better place. So I will start immediately, being conscious with time. As Maria and Anna said, this is very complicated. The program is not easy to discuss these topics, especially virtually or online. But we will do our best because, you know, the body language and the emotional intelligence tools are important when we are discussing such a sensitive things for everybody, I think. Even though that some people said during my work with young people, oh, we are atheists, we are secular, we don't want to talk about religion. Then with time, we discover that religious tradition is still strong and is still affecting our behavior wherever we are, from different background, different cultures. So we cannot deny that the religion is still a major player in our social, political, economic lives. And I would remember one time I did like a survey with some young people in Europe who believe that they are atheists. I said, okay, what did you take from religion? Then they said all our traditions and ethics are taken from religion, even though that we are not religious. So the idea is, even if we are not practicing, we still, echo all religious teachings and traditions. So today's topic, as I said, is very complicated because it's overlapping with many things, intersect with many things in our lives, especially economic and social aspects of our life. So we will talk about how interfaith can contribute to conflict prevention, conflict transformation, and peace building. Also, we will share some ideas how youth programs, especially Erasmus Plus, contribute to learning about intercultural aspects and peace building. First of all, I would like to start with a quick interactive, let's say, exercise. I need you to write one word in the chat that you believe represent or your understanding to what interfaith dialogue is. We just write one word in English, please, to understand it. What you understand or what does interfaith means to you? Only one word. I give you like 30 seconds for this. Let's see how you understand interfaith. Understanding, community, engagement, respect, communication, openness, communal, respect, tolerance, consciousness. So it seems that you are aware of the concept. Well done. You mentioned many things about interfaith dialogue, which is essential for interfaith. For me, I like this, let's say, definition or the way that they define interfaith dialogue. It is about positive and cooperative interaction. You need to be, your mindset will need to be prepared to be positive. Cooperative, it's mean that you want to cooperate to reach a common goal. It's between people of different religious faith or spiritual beliefs. Even for us in URI, we consider agnostic and atheist as spiritual approach to life. So we consider them part of this interfaith dialogue. So the aim is to create or promote understanding. Understanding means to understand what is important, what is common, what is different between the religious traditions. Is understanding does not mean only what's common as people tend to think, oh, we need to understand how we can cooperate, how we are similar. This is not really full interfaith, let's say, dialogue. We need to understand differences and common things, as well as the background behind each religious traditions, to increase acceptance and tolerance. You mentioned the word respect, which is somehow within the concept of acceptance and tolerance. Even though some culture, especially Arabic culture, the word tolerance may imply something negative, because if you want to tolerate something, that's mean you impose it in yourself. Somebody ask you to do it. We like to use the word cohabitance or a mutual respect instead of tolerance. So this is to get the core issue of interfaith dialogue is understanding to increase acceptance and respect, let's say.
Have you ever stopped to ponder what might happen if humanity stopped building walls? Not the physical walls that provide us with shelter and security, but the metaphorical walls that we construct between ourselves and others. Walls of division, born out of fear and misunderstanding, that often serve to isolate us more than they protect us. Picture this. A long time ago, in a world where people lived as one, a Jewish man decided to erect a wall. This wall, built out of a desire to protect his people and preserve their customs, stood as a stark division between his community and the rest of humanity. Soon after, a Christian man, inspired by the Jewish man, built his own wall. His intention was also to safeguard his community and their beliefs. However, the wall he erected further fragmented the unity of human beings. Not long after, a Muslim man, following the example set before him, constructed another wall. His wall too was designed to keep his people safe and their traditions intact. Yet this wall only served to exacerbate the division among humanity. Each wall, though built with good intentions, created an unseen barrier that made it challenging for people on either side to connect. They tried to overcome these barriers, to listen, to understand, to reach out. But the walls were too high, too thick, too intimidating. Over time, the inability to connect gave birth to fear and suspicion. Rumors began to circulate, negative stereotypes took root, and misconceptions flourished. The walls that were supposed to protect and preserve were now breeding grounds for division and discord. As the years rolled on, the walls grew higher, the divisions deeper. The people, once united, now lived in isolated pockets, their understanding of each other clouded by the walls they had built. The unity that once was seemed like a distant memory, replaced by a world fragmented by walls of division. But what if we could tear down these walls? What if, instead of focusing on what divides us, we focused on what unites us? What if we celebrated our differences, rather than allowing them to separate us? In conclusion, the division among humanity, symbolized by these walls, has done more harm than good. It has fostered fear and mistrust, and it has isolated us from one another. Yet the power to change this lies within us. The importance of unity cannot be overstated. It is through unity that we can begin to understand each other, to tear down the walls that divide us, and to build bridges of understanding, respect, and love. So, the next time you see a wall, ask yourself, is it protecting or dividing? Is it fostering understanding or fostering division? And most importantly, what can you do to help tear it down? Because in the end, we are all part of the same human family, and it's high time we started acting like it.
I shared this video just to summarize my experience with Interfaith. It happens that I joined URI like more than 20 years ago, 23 years ago exactly. And I was asked to have a regional conference. So I invited people from MENA region, especially from the main religious traditions in MENA region. And at that time, nobody show up. I managed to get like 7 people, and it's not a conference. I cannot do a conference. So I asked my colleagues in URI Europe to send me some religious people from Europe. So we invited around 20 Europeans, and we managed to get 10 with Jordanian. And the idea when we have our first conference, the religious people from MENA region, let's say from the main 4 dimension, let's say, they didn't share anything. So it seems that they already established a lot of stereotypes, a lot of misconceptions about the other. So I found myself, me and my colleagues talking to ourselves, no interaction. Next year, we worked on it to have more people. So we managed to get, I remember, 10 people from Druze minorities in the MENA region, and other people from different religions. And the issue is all 10, those 10, they never say anything. So it wasn't like an interfaith conference, because people are not talking. People are afraid. They come and they just listen. So with time, I start to explore why, and I start to establish relationships. We did a lot of activities, even they are not young people, because young people are not attracted to interfaith. So we did a lot of activities and we become like friends. Then the magic happens and they start to talk. When we ask why you didn't talk before, because they have like a well-established negative stereotype about the others. So the idea is the more you get people together, the more you establish relationships. It's about relationships. If you manage to establish relationship, you can manage any interfaith dialogue. And with interfaith dialogue, you can establish strong bonds, relationships, and friendships that can make the positive change. So interfaith is about building confidence, relationship, friendship, and try to work together with shared wisdom of all religions. Now, for example, when we do our conferences, we receive more than 100 applications. In the past, we were struggling to get the minimum number of 20 people. Now we are getting more. So with time, I'm speaking about 20 years of work, we managed to establish a strong friendships and relationships between people of different religion. So the idea is not to give up, to take your time. Slowly, you can manage to do the meaningful interfaith dialogue. So why we do interfaith? Because we want lasting, just and lasting peace. We need to understand that there is always negative peace, refer to the absence of violence, which does not mean that people are happy. This might include hidden conflicts. So we cannot force positive peace. We can force negative peace, but this is not what we want. We want positive peace, where the restoration of relationships, the justice, creating fair and just social systems that serve the needs of people. This is what we are looking for, a positive peace. So the peace itself is a framework, including many, many systems that help unfold the conflicts in peaceful means to create a positive change. This is what we are targeting and what we can contribute as interfaith activists in this. So you understand, I think, from your daily life, what's conflict? Conflict is a situation in which unacceptable differences, whether in interest, values, expectation, opinions, idea, happens or occur between individuals or groups. I would like to refer it as a relationship. Conflict is a relationship, is not something negative. It is a relationship between two or more parties who have or who think they have incompatible goals. And not to misunderstand the concept of conflict, because some people refer to the conflict as a struggle or fight, which is okay. It's correct, but we need to speak it as a state of disagreement and opposition now in our this presentation. We need to understand one thing, that conflict is something natural. We cannot avoid it. It's inevitable. It's something we need to live with it. And there's many people believe we need to manage conflict because it's natural. Manage, it's mean keep it, but reduce its adverse impact. Despite the fact that conflict as a term it's a negative, it has negative implications, but it can be positive. Many, let's say, social changes major social changes happened because of conflict. If you are a minorities in a country and you didn't fight for your rights, you will lose your rights. So a lot of minorities can fight for their rights in peaceful way and make the change. Also, imagine that you are combining different perspectives from different religions, religious traditions, and imagine how creative and innovative you're going to be. This will inspire your imagination and find creative solutions for your problems. So it's a very healthy thing to have it. Also, it improve the problem solving and clarify thing. If you kept your things without saying, without fighting with it, nobody will understand it. So it's good to clarify things. And it's a way to involve people. People, when they have conflict, they involve in relationships. They start to strengthen the relationships. They contribute to the decision-making process, which is more inclusive thinking. So conflict, as the Chinese, they believe the problem is an opportunity. So conflict is an opportunity, not always a bad thing. There is different type of conflicts. There is intrapersonal conflict is within yourself when you have doubts, when you have bias, when you have decision to take. You have the conflict within yourself. It's not always with others. And we have interpersonal conflict between two or more individuals. And we have intra-group conflict within same group or same team, like the team for football team, for example, they have conflict with them. Same team in a company, they can have conflict. And we have intergroup conflicts that we are focused on it in this because it's more social conflict. It happens between two different groups, at least two different groups, like two teams, two companies or institutions, two races or three races, between ethnic or religious group, people of sexual orientation, different sexual orientations, sometimes between gender and sometimes between political groups and between nations. So we are focusing on this type of conflict in this session. To understand some concepts and how interfaith can contribute in these major concepts that we are talking about today, the conflict prevention, conflict transformation, and peace building. Let's understand what each terms mean. Conflict prevention is about building the capacities and resilience of a community or a society. It's about proactive measures taken to prevent tension and disputes from escalating into violence or open hostility. This normally by addressing the root cause of conflict and try to solve them in peaceful measures. While conflict transformation, which is very important tools that require a lot of time and efforts because it's grassroots. You need to work in grassroots and in the systems and the structures of any community. It's about changing the nature of conflict, its relationship, its dynamic to create opportunities for constructive change and resolution. It's normally changing the concept of conflict into a concept of peace or making the problem opportunities. And it's, when we said transformation is changing radically the situation, we are not speaking about a little development, radical change, everything. For example, if you want to solve the conflict in the Holy Land between Palestine and Israel, the conflict transformation maybe make them one state with equal opportunities and, just transform the relationship, the concept, the structures to another concept or another status. Peace building contain all these things: conflict prevention and conflict transformation. It's a wider range of activities, and it can be on governments level or even in international levels and grassroots level as well. So it's very comprehensive term. It's about creating a peace and just society. And it addressed normally after or post-conflict, let's say communities or countries or societies, and to build the infrastructure for lasting peace. It's like lay the foundation for lasting just peace. So with these terms, we understand that they are interrelated. We cannot separate them, but we will see how the tools of each term can include interfaith elements, interfaith dialogue within them. As you can see, there's some tools, activities, and strategies to handle conflict. When we speak about diplomacy, dialogue, negotiation, mediation, legal settlement, arbitration, early warning systems, inquiry or conflict analysis about gathering and finding facts. These, we can say, they are more into conflict management and prevention. They are short term somehow. But the prevention also contains some long-term, like structural reforms as part of prevention, because all of peace building and conflict transformation contribute to conflict prevention. So we can see confidence building measures. It takes time to build confidence. Reconciliation actually happens after a long-term conflict normally, and it's about collaborating to find a way out of conflict. So it's a long-term peace building and conflict transformation mean. Structural reform, which is the most complicated things, but it is very, very important for the three approaches to conflict. It's about addressing the root causes of tension and violence. The root causes could be poverty, inequality, political exclusion, by promoting inclusive political economies and societies or social rights. And here comes the interfaith. Interfaith is about structural reform. It can be part of dialogue, negotiation. Everything can be part of it, but it's good to include the religious freedom and religious right as we are doing structural reforms. We cannot forget about the role of religion in conflict. This is the latest, and I think the numbers now after the, let's say, conflict in Holy Land and on Ukraine, it would be increased more and more. Here, as we see, social hostilities related to religion. When I say social, they mean it's like by people, not by, or by non-government actor, non-state actors, they call them. And we have another things and another statistic about the government harassment. As we can see, out of 198 countries in 2019, 43 countries have social conflict or hostilities. You see, the number was during the Arab Spring and 2011, 2012, and this was very high, and it's slow down, then become higher and higher, and I expect it to go up and up. So there is religiously motivated conflict in half of the world at least. This is the statistic that accredited by many, let's say, literature reviews, but some statistics show there is religiously motivated violence or social religiously motivated violence in 100 countries. So religion is still a source of conflict, and religion is part of the culture, and the culture is, the conflict based on culture is very widely known by everybody. Let's speak about government. Out of 198 countries, 163, 82% government authorities interfere in worship in ways such prohibiting certain religious practice, cannot have freedom of access to worship, or to do ritual, or to build temples or mosques or churches, whatever. So the government, the majority governments is hurting or harassing the interfaith minorities and communities. Maybe not only minorities, because in some countries, the majority is being suffered out of government structural actions against them. So not only the minority. In MENA, alhamdulillah, all countries have the government interfere in or have negative influence on religion. In Europe, which is astonishing, 90% of countries in Europe are having negative impact on religion or religious minority or religious majorities. In sub-Saharan, we have 80%. In Asia Pacific, we have 70% of countries. This gives us indicator how religiously motivated conflict is a reality. We need to deal with it. Speak about my journey, my interfaith journey. I would like to share, this is how I come up with this. My interfaith work is like the gradual illumination of a dawning sun. Is when the sun comes rising in the morning, is very slowly. A process that unfolds steadily over time. You need years to discover things about the others. It's not like crash course or a fleeting moment, like a flash of light that you can become an interfaith activist. No, it takes time. It's need persistent and evolving realities, because each year, each confrontation with people from different religion means a lot, give you a lot of insights, a lot of perspectives on life, how you view lives. So you keep changing as an interfaith activist over time. I look at it as lifetime marathon, and it's voluntary. Nobody will force you to become an interfaith activist. It's not about speed, because it's about how you can respect, love, empathy, and accept the others. Empathy is very important emotional intelligence skill. How we can put ourselves on the other shoe, how to look things from the other perspective. This is very difficult, but you can develop it over time. Each individuals traverse traverses his journey or their journey at their own unique pace. Some people take time, some people do it quicker than the others. There is no time limitation for interfaith work, but all interfaith work will contribute to a more peaceful and understanding world that everybody would love to contribute to. This is very important statement by the author of The Moral Imagination, The Art and Soul of Building Peace book. Is a very nice book. I recommend that you read it. John Paul said, "The mystery of peace is located in the nature and the quality of relationship developed with those most feared." This is the people who fear from others. The relationship, if you want to do peace with what they called enemies, let's say, so you need the mystery. You can find it in the relationship. How natural, how high quality you establish relationship with your, what you may think is your enemy, is who fear you and you fear them. This is the most important thing to discover what or how you can do peace. So relationship again and again is very important. Without relationship, you cannot do interfaith dialogue and you cannot do peace building as well. So the interfaith journey, it's based the road to peace. Is it a journey? Because it does not have a destination. It's just you go through the journey until you die, let's say. It's like a constant effort. It's about continuous learning. You discover and explore the others. You need to be curious about the other, sensitive about the other, to keep learning and exploring what's the other. Then the relationship becomes stronger. The more you know about the other, the differences and similarities, the relations start to evolve. And during this, when you establish relationship, you contribute to your personal growth and development. So you shift, you transform your life and behavior. You start to act differently because what you learned and the relationship. And this is continuous. You keep learning and you keep evolving. As you see, this journey is continuous journey. So I'm still in this, and everybody who is active in interfaith will remain the entire, their entire life in this circle. Why interfaith is important? We cannot deny, as I said at the beginning when I did a survey, even atheist people, they still use religious traditions as norms, as values, morals, ethics, as part of their identity. So religion is a very powerful component of cultures. Some say it's 90% of your culture is your religion, if you are from a religious background or if you are religious. So we cannot say religion is not important. As you say, culture is not important. Also, the value systems of each religious tradition provide a guidance for us how to live and how to understand the world. So religion provides a framework for understanding the world, how we view our views on the world. Even some will say that not all religions call for peace and love. This is wrong. If you read all religious text, I was exposed to 80 religious texts. All of them call or advocate for peace, non-violence. We need not to forget when we read the text to read the background, because there is background behind each text that people do not understand or give efforts to read to understand the text, the holy text. So it's the call of love and peace in every religion. And this is from my experience, I can say, and I can affirm. Also, religion contributes to our political, social, and economic lives attitude. We cannot deny this. It's part of them. And religions provide spiritual resilience. There's in every conflict, there is spiritual aspects, psychological aspects that only religion can heal and can make people resilient. So it is important for us. People can survive on resilience because of their belief, deep belief. Also, religions provide a moral alternative during the period of wars, conflict, collapse, whatever. So the social system will continue because of religion, even if the states collapse, for example. And it happens in Latin America, it happens even in Jordan during some conflicts. The religion kept people behaving well and respecting the others. So it is alternative moral system that can help managing the state if the state is collapsed or if there is conflict, big conflict. Also, religious traditions, now they are making platforms for globalizing the peace building and conflict resolution. We can see URI, for example, is a global organization. It has more than 1,000 NGO as a group members, and they are working together to stand with peace and nonviolence. Also, world religions. We are seeing a lot of global platforms that affecting the world actions, or they having pressure on any conflict. So religious institutions are becoming stronger despite the fact that people are away from religion. But this is what we see on the ground. On the ground, there is a lot of actions done by these institutions. All religions encourage respect, peaceful conflict resolution, and reconciliation and justice. This is a nice word. We need to remember that no peace among the nations without peace among the religions. No peace among the religions without dialogue among the religions. So we need interfaith dialogue to secure peace. This is the roadmap to peace. It's very easy and it is acceptable. Human rights, we need human rights, equality, respect, and justice. And the major things in human rights that nobody disagree, everybody agree that respect of human dignity. Human dignity means freedom. Freedom means freedom of the religion or belief. And freedom of the religion will encourage interfaith. People will become vocal. They speak about their faith. And this will end up the real peace that we looking for. Now, just to connect the source of conflict with the sources of conflict or causes of conflict. As we can see, data or information is one of the major causes or sources of conflict. Lack of information make conflict. Misinformation make conflict. Different access to information also. different interpretations, different assessment processes or procedures. All these lack of information or something, anything related to information can cause conflict. And here we can say, if I don't have access about or information or knowledge about the other, I will have doubts, as we see in the videos, because I don't know. I start to establish a stereotype and suspicious thoughts about the other. So lack of information, because we don't have dialogue, we don't have let's say respect and understanding for others, because we don't have information. For example, I'll give an example. Recently, I was in a meeting and I asked one of my colleagues how Americans look at jihad. She told me, if you ask any American in San Francisco, what's jihad? They will say it's killing Americans. But if they have access to information, jihad as Islamic term is struggle against your desire, is struggling to commit to the right path, to do good things, is the biggest jihad. And the smallest jihad is the fight if somebody kick you from your homeland. And if somebody try to take your properties or aggression against, make aggressive action against you. So this lack of access for information always make the conflict. Then we move to the values and cultural attitudes. As we say, most values and cultural attitudes in many countries are coming from religion. So interfaith aspect is very, very important here. The culture, which is, in short, it's like the way of life, how we live. It's about ideology, about our ethnicity, religion, how we evaluate ideas and behavior, which is core of our faith or religion. So if we have different values, different way of life, different ideologies, different beliefs, or judging for behavior, we will have the clashes. Here comes the interfaith dialogue to prevent any clashes, because we need to understand each other, to increase respect and acceptance, as we said in the beginning, to reduce any conflict out of cultural attitudes and values. Then we come to the relationships, which is the core of any peace building process, is strengthening the relationships. Relationships is about strong emotions, stereotype, misperceptions, misconceptions, poor communications, repetitive negative behavior. All this can make conflict. And to reduce stereotype or to debunk stereotypes and misconceptions, we need interfaith dialogue. Then we come to interest or position. This is very common in corporate world, but it is in interfaith. It's very important when we talk about intangible interest and positions like recognition, respect of security, especially for religious minorities, that they need this to avoid, to feel secure. And this is, if you don't have security or recognition or respect, this inspires conflict. Any competition between religious traditions will cause a conflict as well. So not only on resources or territories, the conflict can be on religious things as well. Then we have the structures, which is very, very complicated and needs a lot of conflict transformation and peace building efforts to to avoid any conflict stems from structures. The structure is about unequal control, ownership, or distribution of resources, unequal power of authority, which is like some religious groups are dominant in any country. This will, this will let the others feel the grief or the unfairness, so they will do conflict. And sometimes we have like geographical or physical constraints and destructive patterns of behavior. These can make a conflict. For example, if any religious minority cannot, for example, own land, this is unfair and will make conflict. Like in Philippines, we have these overlands. The conflict started more than 100 years ago when Philippines was under occupation and the Muslims were not allowed to own lands. So they have to work with the Christian, and this is the conflict still until now because this is structural inequalities or resource distribution. So it's very hard to change, but they are essential. If we change structures, we can change everything. And structures needs to work on grassroots, and grassroots needs to establish understanding through dialogue, and particularly interfaith dialogue. Here, as we see, the conflict are easy to handle, which is relationship, when it's relationships, information or data, or interest or position. This you can do conflict management. If you have position, you can do conflict resolution, you can do conflict prevention. It's very easy to handle these when it's related to information, relationships, and interest. They call it negotiable. It can be negotiated. But here is the issue where we have the culture and which is somehow represent religion, and the structures. They are very difficult. You need conflict transformation and peace building. And interfaith is one of interfaith dialogue, one of the tools that you can handle these sources of conflict. Here is an exercise. You can do it. Try to do it by yourself. What we can do to handle data. For example, we can translate the religious text in understandable language, for example, for everybody in the community. We can highlight the terms that there's a lot of misunderstanding in it or misconception of some terms of each religion. For interest and position, we can secure the minorities' right to practice their ritual or to build their temples, whatever, to meet their interest and position. Relationship is we need to prevent any hate speech, for example. We can put rules and regulations for certain terms that can provoke negative emotions for people, for example. Values, cultural attitudes. Here we can do interfaith workshops. We can change the systems of any discrimination. For example, some countries remove the religion from the identity card, so nobody will know what's religion and nobody will discriminate. So you have access to everything as everybody. Structural things is very, very important. We can go for school and teach them how to be tolerant and how to accept differences, and maybe to put some material about the other religions in the community. Here's the last thing, and how can the youth work and youth program contribute to intercultural learning. I would like to build in this stage of cultural sensitivity. It's a model that you can find it on the internet, and I think many Erasmus Plus projects are using it. We enter our any intercultural confrontation at the beginning of our experience with youth exchanges, intercultural youth camps, whatever. We passed through these steps, and normally we stuck in some people cannot move it all. If you can move it all, you will become a global citizen or with intercultural mindset. But not all people can move until the end. So at the beginning, when we have like any intercultural setting, young people, they are unaware of or unable to recognize cultural differences, or they are not interested. They just get together. Then when they start to interact, they start to feel the differences. So they become in polarization stage, the mentality of us, that's them. Us, there's them, or either with us or against us. This mentality normally happens at our early experience of exposure with youth exchanges. We start to judging people like, oh, they are not good enough. Our culture is much better than their culture. Look how they act. This is unbelievable. So you start to evaluate and judge at this time. And sometimes you feel your culture is superior, or most of time. And some people say, no, my culture are not superior. Their culture is better than mine. So these things happens normally. And this is very, Erasmus Plus projects will move people from this stage when they have interaction and establish relationship, people from different cultures, different religious traditions. They move from this stage to the other stage because of the Erasmus sitting, our youth project sitting. So they move to minimization. Minimization is very critical stage, because young people, they start to de-emphasize differences. They say, okay, we have more similarity than differences. We are all human and we are all enjoy freedom of choice, whatever. So why to bother and learn about the others? Okay, they are good as a friends, but I don't want to go through our differences. I will focus on what we can live together, what we can enjoy. Most people, young people, even old people, stick in this stage. They don't move from minimization. He said, okay, you worship whatever. I have my religion, you have your religion. I don't want to know about you. But we all call for all religions call for peace and love. Let's focus on this. This is very critical stage, because some people never move from here, step forward. Then the good people and the intelligent people, and let's say the more open-minded people, move to acceptance. If you move to acceptance, you do strong analysis for differences and similarities, not focus on similarities and what the minimum requirement to live together. No, they go deeper. They appreciate both differences and similarities. If you accept this, you are in a stage of acceptance that we wish to reach. This is very important to reach. And if you are in acceptance stage, it is fine. And if Erasmus projects manage to get 50% of the people engage in Erasmus Plus projects to acceptance stage. This is wonderful, great. Then some smart and more open-minded people, they move to adaptation. Adaptation is, you understand, you appreciate, but you adapt. You start to act accordingly, to respond to cultural differences. Here is the empathy we said. You put yourself in the other shoes and start to appreciate what they appreciate and to be sensitive to what they are sensitive to. So if you move to adaptation, it's great. And maybe some people, 25% normally from my expectation to the people we engage. It's worth mentioning that we have done more than 100 Erasmus Plus projects. We host around 12 in Jordan and the other in other countries. So we can tell how young people change. So some people reach the adaptation. Most people stuck with minimization. And a few, like less than 5%, reach the integration stage. Integration stage is very difficult to reach when you think that no religion, no culture is superior to another. Recognize differences between cultures and belief, and adapt to accommodate. So this is very, very few people reach it. Then you have the intercultural mindset, or the, let's say, fully global citizen. So this is my presentation. I hope I managed to finish in 1 hour.
Exactly 1 hour, actually.
Yeah.
59 minutes to be precise, because I was checking the time when you started. So you saved 1 minute in your presentation, but thank you so much. It has been extremely structured and very interesting, and put a lot of puzzle pieces from our previous sessions also in one picture, which I want to thank you for that. Particularly, I think it was also giving some deep reflections about where we live now, and about our identities. And we will be talking about identities in the next edition of idtalks in 2 weeks. So I think it's a good also moment to bring that into our perspective. Thank you very much. Let's see, we have about 15 minutes till the end of our today's talk. We decided as a team in the background chat that we will not go into breakout rooms, because the group is not very big anyway, and we could still all stay together here. And also let our audience for once hear the question answer session. So the broadcast will continue till the end of today's ID talk, which is quite exceptional, I have to say. So now we are happy and ready to take some questions from the audience. In the meantime, Anush here is asking a very big question, but maybe you can give a shorter or your personal answer to it. When will humanity create one face, in your opinion, Mamoun? Is it ever possible?
Yes, it is not, and diversity is a blessing, so it will not. But I can give like an example. Imagine we are in the bottom of mountain, and the reality is in the top of the mountain, and different people are climbing the mountain in different routes. They all walk different routes toward the top of the mountain to find the ultimate goal, let's say one faith, or the reality of faith. So these people are moving in different way, and they will struggle to reach the top. So they will meet at the top. So there's different routes, but they will lead us to one reality at the end, if we are proof to ourselves and we are committed to the good deeds and to the, let's say, to what's good for the humanity and us.
Thank you very much, Mamoun. We have another great question in the chat from Vic here, who is asking, how could we help others who are stuck in the level of polarization to realize that and step out of it and evolve further and open up. I maybe can bring another additional layer to this in a youth exchange, in an Erasmus Plus context. What could we do with participants who knowingly come to projects about interfaith dialogue, about peace building, but still are very much stuck in the polarization phase? Is there something that we could do from your experience, exercise or activity that could maybe open them up and have them a better kind of broader outer look on the situation?
Yes, I think there is a lot of tools like team building tools and the tools that storytelling like tools about their own culture to let them understand. The idea is to strengthen the relationship. For the young people, they spend 1 week together. They might don't like each other at the beginning, but they cry at the end of leaving the exchanges. And this is so common. But as the question, some people stuck in polarization. And this is what happens last year. A lady from Georgia said to a Jordanian, "You are so good to be a Jordanian, a Muslim, and I feel sorry when I see someone as good as you is not Christian." So I think she's stuck with this. But with relationship, doing more projects together, it's very tiring and process is a journey. You need to explore. You need to give them chance to explore and establish confidence by relationship. The more relationship, the more projects. For example, if they have like 3 projects together, I'm sure 3 Erasmus, 3 weeks together, they will change. But one is sometimes not enough.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. And you guessed well, I do have a question or two even. Thank you. So one question is, how do you motivate or encourage youth workers to work on a topic of faith and religion? Because as you started your presentation with that, I think there is a hesitation and a fear of addressing that, especially with a group of people with diverse backgrounds, because people are afraid of conflicts or that they won't be able to manage the conflict. So that would be the one. And then if you have time, I know that your organization is really active in Erasmus program. Why are you using Erasmus program? What are the benefits of a program like that for addressing the topic of interfaith dialogue? So those would be my 2 questions. If you have time to take them both. Thank you.
Yes, regarding the first
Mamoun, maybe, sorry for interrupting. Maybe we also take Laura's question,
yes.
and then you address all of them together so we can save a bit of time. Please, Laura.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a very interesting presentation, and I also have 2 questions. The first one is about the last stage in interfaith dialogue about integration. I think it's called. No, when you consider all religions as equal, none of them being superior from others, and I would like to ask if, in your opinion, we should, however, set some limits. For instance, if we have a community, a religious community in which they think it's okay to punish physically the women or children, and I think we couldn't accept that practice as being equal with other religions in which beating children is immoral, and how we can set limits, avoiding relativism of ethical values, and also respecting other communities. This is the first question. And the second one is about building walls and about the video you shared with us earlier, in which it was the idea that the three persons who initiated the Abraham religions, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, they had good intentions, but they built walls. And my question is, do you think they built the walls personally, or their communities after them didn't understand them very well? For instance, I'm a Christian, and I consider and I feel that Jesus didn't build walls, but we, the Christian, the Christian churches, often don't understand his message, and we tend to separate from each other, to divide Christianity, although Christ's message is a message of love. And what's your opinion about it? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice questions. Yes. First question, Maria, I need to confess that we established Desert Bloom to attract young people. Because when we work with URI, the name URI, United Religions Initiative, is not attractive for young people. So they considered, oh, I don't want to talk about religion. So we attracted young people by changing the name and work in cultural issue. But we understand that like 90% of young people culture comes from religion. So we talk about culture and we insert religion as part of the culture. So this is how we do it. And we avoid, for example, when we do our interfaith conference, it's an annual event and we bring young people and old people as well. We choose themes that are general, we said we are not religious people. I'm not religious people. I'm not really a religious person. We choose like themes that related to voluntary work, environmental peace building, the last conference, for example. We choose about how religion deal with refugees, how people deal with, for example, with others, that the atheist, whatever. So we choose like themes. We don't discuss Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Baha'ism, whatever. We make it general, and we allowed for the grassroots to contribute. So those who deliver the sessions are from different religious tradition. So they, quote something from their religion, so we understand their religion, how their perspective in different topics. This is the first question. The second question, how we benefit. Here, Erasmus is made for people who will not afford traveling or being in intercultural setting. So we dedicated our Erasmus Plus project for those people who never been traveling, to break down stereotypes. Because, for example, foreigners from global, let's say, north, there is a stereotype. They are coming after our resources. They are supporter of Israel. They are against Arab. So people establish hatred. And we see some actions when a war took place in Gaza in 2006. There's a young people who attack two young people in different places, attacked tourists, blonde tourists, because they believe that everybody is supporting the occupation. And we have a lot of Palestinians, like half of the population of Jordan, Palestinians. So these young people, when they understand that Europeans are not our enemy, people is not our enemy, this is beyond the grassroots, beyond the people, what's happening. So they build understanding and respect to the others. This way, I think we contribute to bringing peace to the region and to let them think more as a global citizen than a local, or living in stereotypes and Hollywood, to see the realities on the ground. This is your question. Hopefully I answered. Yeah, now we go for uniting religions. This is very, very important. When I said integration does not mean that I act as this culture, or I treat it as a good way to discover life, a good way to discover God. Each religious tradition is, let us say, an human efforts to explore the existence, the God, the whatever spirituality. So I appreciate their efforts that reach to this degree, if to the degree that they consider life like this, their views in global issues like this, and life after death, I respect it and I live with it. Does not mean I embrace it or I believe it. You keep your religion. If you remember the mountains, everybody want to reach the top, but in different way. So all religions are, or beliefs, or way of life, or spiritual approaches, all of them try to reach a supreme spot in the top of the mountain in different ways. So I respect their efforts, but does not mean that I will follow their rules and climb the mountain as they do. I do it my own way because I believe it. But this does not mean that I should hate them or say that they are wrong, or this does not mean. The integration is mean, okay, you have your own way. I appreciate your efforts, and this is your own way. So the limitation is always be when we talk about religions, you cannot, you arrive, one of its principles that we encourage everybody to commit to their religion. We do not provide or provoke greed dialogue. We talk about cooperation together from different backgrounds. Hopefully this meet your question. Regarding the walls, as I said in the beginning of the video, sorry, I used the free video maker. You see, so the people at the beginning, they were living in harmony. The Abrahamic, let's say, religious traditions, they were living in the Holy Land in a very harmony. Then start the division. So it's not about Jesus or Muhammad or Moses who established the walls. No, it's they were living together. Then the political, economical, material life, many causes make these people to establish the walls. So it is human made or human decision, is not doctrine from any religion. And the idea is in all religions, in Christianity, it's a message for all humanity. Islam is a message for all humanity. Judaism, maybe it's for the tribe of the Israeli tribes, but I think it's also a message for humanity. So no walls built by prophets or messengers of God.
We have one more question, and I will give it to you if only you promise to answer it within like a very short 1 minute answer, yeah? But I think it's very important question, because also most of our audience coming from youth work field, and this learning about methods is important as well. Which methods do you use in projects to share knowledge about different faiths and culture? I hope it's not only this kind of crazy intercultural evenings that young people think is the best way to learn about culture. Yeah, what is your know-how?
That's my know-how. We believe in exposures, like real life exposure to learn through doing it, not in the classroom, like planting trees, like playing any sport, or composing music together, because the real relationship come out doing a real work, because they want to have commitment and they want to see that they are achieving something. Because young people, they said, oh, we are just playing games on the rooms. This is nothing. And we did this. We did like community garden with the volunteers from Portugal and Germany for one day, and we planted trees in a mountain. We bring back the diversity to the mountain. This is a good examples.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure the more we talk, the more questions might come, but we need to be aware of time. We're actually already a little bit past the time. So this means we have a moment to see the work that Olaja has been creating in the background. I think it's a good moment for you, Olaja, to take over the screen. And then we come back to close today's ID talk.
Okay, so I hope you can hear me and that you can see my screen. This is the little recap. Thank you, Mamoun, for a very structured and, let's say, coming from many areas. We got, types of conflict, sources of conflict, ideas of tools and activities to deal with conflict. So, yeah, very condensed information, definitely, and also with this bits and pieces from the practice. So this is the first draft, as usual. And I enjoyed it a lot, and everyone will receive the final version in a week's time, more or less.
Thank you. I look nicer.
Yes, you're differently dressed in this picture.
Yes.
Mamoun, maybe if you would like to say some final words to our audience before we close today's session, the floor is now yours.
Yes, I recommend everybody to be an activist in interfaith, because this will let you understand yourself and contribute to the world peace. We are not the generation for material life. We need to have more face-to-face confrontation and talks and cooperation. Always don't miss any chance of cooperating with somebody from other religion or from other tradition or culture, because the learning will be out of the box and out of your, circle or knowledge. So you will learn a lot from the collective wisdom of all cultures and religions.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you very much to our audience here. And yeah, see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a great rest of your day.